let's go, yo. Let's get this. No. Hey guys, and welcome to the second show of Keeping It 100. I'm one of your hosts, Riyad Shah, the secondary out of school time coordinator at Framingham High School.
And I'm Natalia. I'm a senior at FHS.
I'm Jasir Guillen, and I am a sophomore at FHS. And this week we'll be interviewing Constanza Cabello and Jacob Hepler.
If you guys could introduce yourselves and let us know what you guys do for work.
Connie, go first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Constanza Cabello. I go by Connie for short. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the Vice President for Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement at Framingham State University. I started there in July, so I'm still fairly new to the Framingham community, but it's been great so far, and I'm looking forward to our time together. And yeah, definitely hit us up on Facebook, and we're happy to answer any questions and talk to you a little bit more about who we are and what we do for work and what we like to do personally.
How's it going? I'm Jake Hepler. I too work at Framingham State University. Work in the alumni office. I'm the Associate Director of Resource Development and Alumni Relations. I get to interact with a lot of fantastic alumni, get them engaged with Framingham State, and also have the opportunity to raise money for the great school too. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you guys for having me on so much, and let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come on our podcast and talk with us a little bit. And, we're just going to jump right into our first segment about current events here. So let's see. How are you guys managing your time during this COVID-19 crisis? And that could be like your personal time, work time, a little bit of both.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, it's definitely I'll go first. It's totally fine. So it's been an adjustment for sure. I'm used to, driving to Framingham, commuting to Framingham every day of the week and just working in my office. One thing I've really tried to do is kind of plan out my schedule. I've been kind of glued to my Outlook and just setting up my different tasks throughout the day and make sure I kind of follow that schedule. I definitely make sure I put time in for lunch in there and kind of time to de-stress too. What's been interesting for me is I find myself just kind of no commute. I can just kind of wake up and just roll out of bed and just kind of start working, which is great for me, not for everyone. But then I take breaks throughout the day and kind of find myself, working later in the day too. I was just chatting with my supervisor the other night until like 7 or 8 o'clock, just checking in and just kind of making sure things are still going well. But it's been an adjustment, but I'm taking it, I'm going with the punches.
Yeah, similarly, I am working from home. I live in Stoughton now, which has been interesting because I moved from Quincy to Stoughton probably a week before the stay-at-home order. So my commute to Framingham is typically like an hour and 15 minutes in an hour or an hour and a half. So I've actually gotten a lot of time back in my day working from home. So I've been spending my time in my new place, setting it up, trying to get it to look cute and functional, but also spending a lot of time working as well. And so, I know a lot of people working from home either works for people or it doesn't. For me, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some days I feel like I'm super good and I'm productive and I've got my stuff together. And then there's other days where I'm like, what have I been doing for the last 8 hours? So it's been good for me. I think a daily part of my routine is trying to get outside, get some exercise, work out. This morning I did like this workout video on an IG Live. That was a hot mess, but it was good. It got me moving. But yeah, just trying to get outside, trying to enjoy the days that we do have good weather because the weather has just been so bad lately. And then just trying to find time to connect with friends and people that I haven't had a chance to talk to in a while. So of course, like with Zoom and FaceTime and all those sort of things, it seems a lot more easy to do that, and just trying to, enjoy the downtime. I think that's something that's been really important to me because we're so go in our everyday life that it's important to find time to relax. So I'm trying to enjoy the downtime that I do have, but still trying to keep my work moving forward because Framingham State University has a pretty it's an exciting time for Framingham State University in terms of diversity, inclusion, and equity. And we have so many projects that we're working on and so many things that we want to advance. So for me, it's been a good balance of being, on work and on personally.
Yeah, and shout out Framingham State for just getting top 23 in the country ranked for affordable colleges for education, stuff like that. So that's awesome. So that must be exciting for you guys. And so Jake and Connie, you guys both mentioned like Jake, you mentioned no commute and just rolling out of bed and getting right to work. And Connie, you said, getting an extra hour and a half of your time on a day. Have you guys picked up any new hobbies? Learned something new? Filled that time with something like routinely to make sure you are sticking in a routine, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to. A few weeks ago, Joe Corzini, who was on last week, sent out the group an email about a group that we're in, about an email about kind of a financial literacy course and intro to investing stocks. So I took that last week and I've been following up on that. It was really helpful. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I've definitely just been trying to do a lot of professional development stuff as well too. I'm switching the process of switching roles in my job now. So I've been really looking into kind of how I can continue to advance my career and just kind of keep doing my job the way that it needs to be done and just keep progressing.
I've been pretty useless and enjoying it. I think for me, my friends have been making fun of me right now because I was basically I was doing I was working full time and doing my part time for 5 years. And so what happened during that 5 years is I had like very little connection to the outside world. So my friends have been making fun of me because I've been on Netflix and catching up with things from like the last 5 years. And like I'll watch a documentary, hit my friends and be like, "Oh my gosh, did you see this? It was so good." And they're like, "Connie, that came out like 4 years ago." Like everybody watched it, has had the whole conversation and moved on to something else. So I've just been catching up on Netflix. Tiger King, it was hilarious. I enjoyed Tiger King. I've been watching a documentary like every single night. So yeah, for me, I'm feeling a lot less productive in that sense, but I'm definitely, I really like documentaries. And so for me, just trying to catch up on documentaries, catch up on, some books that I've been wanting to read that have been literally collecting dust in my house. But I did buy the other day, I went to Target. I braved it to Target and I found a book on like writing calligraphy. So I was like, that could be fun. So now I'm going to try to do that.
Interesting.
Can you show us a picture?
Do you have any artwork?
I have none right now, but I would be happy to report back. I just bought the book the other day.
Okay.
But no, it's been something I've been wanting to get into, is just like being more creative and being more artsy. But, working full time and doing a doctor part time really didn't allow me to do anything fun. So now I'm just taking it all in and enjoying the downtime.
Nice. That's awesome. Great. That's awesome. All right. Well, you guys talked a little bit about your careers and what you guys do currently. So I think that's a nice segue into our next piece of career advice.
All right, so I want to know from you guys, knowing that you guys have very unique jobs at working at FSU. So I want to know what influenced you guys to pick the field of work that you guys are currently working.
Cool. Jake, you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it. You're the best.
A little bit about me is that I was born in Chile and my family immigrated to the United States when I was a baby. So we came to the U.S., I landed in Jamaica Plain, and then eventually went to high school at Randolph High School. So, which was a pretty diverse community. I had friends from every background, every religion, every sexuality. And so when I went to college, first of all, I was a first generation college student, didn't really know what I was doing in the college selection process, literally picked the schools I was going to apply to by watching March Madness, because I figured if they were in March Madness, then they had to be good schools. And I really wanted like that stereotypical college experience. So I ended up at University of Connecticut, which my parents acted like I was leaving the country because I was going out of state. And when I was at UConn, I feel like I had this realization that the rest of the world was predominantly white, and I had not figured that out yet, which sounds kind of ridiculous. But when I was at UConn is when I really started to notice things more in terms of social justice, in terms of identity, in terms of, underrepresented groups or marginalized groups. And that's when my passion for this work really started to develop. Coming from an immigrant family, I thought there were a couple options. I was like, all right, I'm going to go be a doctor, which I don't like blood. So that wasn't in the picture for me.
But you are a doctor.
I am a doctor of education. So when I was in business school for one semester and tanked and was like, this is not for me either. And then I actually thought I was going to go to law school until I did an internship at the Connecticut State Capitol and realized that was not in my future at all. Like, I didn't want to be an attorney. So I had some really amazing mentors during my college experience who were like, you're really good at like leadership development and peer mentorship and advising and coaching people. I was really involved in our Puerto Rican Latin American Cultural Center. I pledged a sorority. I studied abroad. I did a lot of things. So that's kind of what opened my eyes to college student development as a career. So I went and got my master's in counseling. And when I was getting my master's, one of the things I did was a graduate internship with our student activities department, specifically focused on multicultural education, and loved it and felt like I was actually doing work that was meaningful, that was really, personally important to me. And also it's kind of the time in my life where I realized like I wanted to work in a mission-driven organization and that I needed work that was deeply tied to who I am as a person to be motivated. And that's kind of how it all started. I've worked at a number of different institutions. I worked at Bryant University. I worked at UMass Lowell. I worked at Stonehill College. And in all of those positions, the common thread was that I was working directly with students. And my passion was really in serving underrepresented student groups, specifically students of color, women of color, LGBTQ plus students, first generation college students, low income students. So when the position opened up at Framingham, I had just completed my doctorate and I was like, hey, let me throw my name in and see what happens. This will be a cool interview experience. And as I kind of went through the process, I was like, wow, this is a place where I want to do this work. Framingham is a diverse community. There's a lot of opportunity there. There's a great community kind of outside of campus too. So that's kind of how I got to where I'm at. But the reality is like this work is deeply personal to me. I couldn't work in an industry where I was just going to work every day and like crunching numbers and leaving. Like I would be so unmotivated. So for me, I think growing up in a really diverse community, going to college, realizing that there were all these social issues around me that I was so unaware of, and then realizing that my passion was really working with students has kind of all set me up for what I'm doing today.
That's great. So I kind of have a different kind of career path than Connie. I actually was in college studying kinesiology. I wanted to be a physical therapist. I thought I was always playing sports growing up, so I thought I wanted to be around athletes, helping them kind of heal from their injuries because I had injuries in my past too. I ended up getting an internship at a physical therapy clinic outside of my school. And I was able to work there and I loved being in that environment. But the thing that I didn't like was the actual physical therapy part. I kind of did an assessment of myself and realized that I really enjoyed, being around people and helping people. And I've always had people, kind of just supporting people and always had that in my life too. So I always knew I wanted to do that as well. My first job out of college was working at South Middlesex Opportunity Council, helping individuals with mental illness or developmental disabilities kind of find meaningful employment. And I just kind of loved that work. Just helping was really what I enjoyed doing. The joy of seeing someone when they got their first job or just got hired for the first time was just like amazing. I just really loved that. And I knew that just helping and supporting people is what I wanted to do. I started working for another job doing similar type work, except I was working with at-risk youth and helping them go to college training programs or get on-the-job training so that they can become self-sufficient and start their own kind of employment journey and their own kind of career path with that as well too, which was fantastic. I was kind of at a crossroads. I still knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did another assessment of myself and realized that I kind of needed to go back to school and get some more schooling. I was in the process of of going to graduate school when I was offered another job back at South Middlesex Opportunity Council, except this time I'd be part of the senior management team, helping the executive team working on their kind of projects, goals, different objectives that they're working on, and just kind of being a community representative while still helping serve the population that they work with. I really enjoyed that work, and I was still helping people, which was fantastic. And that's kind of like the center of what I want to do. So when I saw this opportunity at Framingham State, I had a few friends that had actually worked in the office, and they told me a lot of great things about the office, the Framingham State community that I was familiar with, but really kind of reinforced a lot of the things that Connie was saying. And I knew that that was a place that I really wanted to work at and really wanted to thrive. So I ended up getting the job, and it was just fantastic. And I've been loving it ever since. Framingham State is such an amazing culture. My team's so fantastic and so supportive. So I'm just happy that I've been able to kind of be on my wavy career path the way it's been so far. So it's been cool.
All right,
That's
so
awesome.
I noticed you
Thank
guys
you,
have brought
guys.
up some past jobs. I always want to know if you guys like anything. Is there anything that you guys took from like those past jobs and applied to your job now?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I've had really amazing professional experiences and really horrible professional experiences. And all of those are experiences. So, I think kind of how I shared, I did that internship at the Connecticut State House. And I was like, I'm so glad I did that because it wasn't a bad experience, but it was one of those experiences where I was so completely like uncomfortable and knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I think ever since then, every job I've had, everything I've done has made me realize like what I want and what I don't want. Or like what kind of leader I want to be and what kind of leader I don't want to be. Because and I'm sure you all can think of somebody in your life who you're like, oh, they're a terrible leader. And like, here are the things I don't want to be like. That's what they do. And even thinking back, like, before college, right? Like all the jobs I had, I was a camp counselor for 6 summers, which I loved. And I think deeply shaped, my commitment to student development and youth development. Or, my first job was at the local grocery store bagging groceries, and I worked in the cheese department. Like, it taught me like what it means to show up and be present and, be kind to people. So, all of those jobs I've taken something really awesome out of. And then I've also taken lessons of like, noted, I don't want to be that kind of person.
Yeah, I definitely echo everything.
For sure.
I'm so blessed because, like I said, I was part of the senior management team and I was very young, but everyone else that I had worked with had so many years of experience. So I could just be a fly on the wall in all these meetings and just learn from them and just kind of see how they operate and do things. And I've applied a lot of that stuff in my job now. There's obviously things that sometimes the best thing to know is what not to do. And that's a big part of learning and experiences and being a leader as well, too. So I've just tried to take from everyone what I see successful, what I see people respond to, and just kind of apply that to myself and see how I can use that to become like a better professional and a better person.
Yeah, no, I echo all of that stuff. Sorry, go ahead,
As
Natalia.
you guys mentioned that you work at FSU and with the college community, I think I mentioned that I'm a senior at FHS. Do you guys have any tips for me or our fellow senior graduating class?
You want to go, Jay?
Yeah, definitely. I heard that it's an interesting kind of environment you're going to be sent into when you decide to go to school, whenever that is. Hopefully it's in the fall. I say just take advantage of it. Go out and do as many things as possible. Join the clubs, play intramurals, just be active on campus. I think that's the best way to take advantage of it. Even if that kind of stuff's digitally or virtually, I say still go for it. It's an awesome experience and everyone deserves it too. It stinks so much that you guys are having to deal with it in this current climate, but there's still so many opportunities out there. And I say just, carpe diem, seize the day and go for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Jake. I also think just like in general, don't sell yourself short. I think back to that time in my life when I was a senior in high school, and I think I sold myself short in a lot of ways. Like I didn't really understand my own potential, and so I think for high school graduates, like realize that you're about to enter a really transformative time in your life. Like this is a real big transition, and it's going to be hard, but there's also going to be so many points of joy in that. but it's really all on you. And so don't sell yourself short. Aim high. I mean, there are sometimes like my dad to this day, like I am grown. I like to this day, my dad still gets on me because he's like, you should have applied to Ivy League schools. And I'm like it's been what, like a million years since I graduated high school. He still reminds me of that. But to his point, it's like, I didn't know that was even an option for me. So I say just like aim high. And if it doesn't work out, who cares? Like no regrets, do everything you can, take advantage of every opportunity, every resource to you. There's so many, especially in the Framingham community, to take advantage of.
And I got a good question here from the audience really quickly. They want to know how you guys, Connie and Jacob, how you guys handled removing yourself from a bad work environment, maybe from like one of your first job experiences or something like that. What was your process, or what did you do?
Yeah, definitely. So I've always been so lucky. I've always had bosses or supervisors that support me, and I always have an open line of communication with them too. And I always kind of make sure that they know what I'm doing and where I'm at. So if there is some sort of bad kind of environment, or if there's something not going well, they kind of know where I'm at. We kind of work through this together. Having a support network is so important. Even kind of reaching out to your friends and family and just kind of seeing what they've done in these situations too, to kind of learn from them and just kind of move forward with that also too. I think it is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. And I would just say, like the worst thing you can do leaving a bad job environment is like leave with like, need to light that place up. I mean, like handle it professionally. You don't have to be like the biggest champion or cheerleader for the organization or the people you work with, but don't leave like screaming. So I think just being able to, to take it all in, again, remind yourself that this is an experience. It's not for forever, but also knowing that, that you want to leave. I would say like you want to leave a place better than you found it. And you want to know that you at least did what you could in your sphere of influence. So, maintaining that open communication with the people in the organization that you trust, that can continue to be references for you, because that's really important. Like you got to remember, people talk. And so if you leave a bad taste in people's mouth, they're going to talk.
So right.
You are chatty. So you want to make sure that you like leave that's respectful, and in a way that you also feel good about too.
Yeah.
Because they never forget the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And you guys, Connie, you mentioned that you were keeping up with Netflix shows. Is there any like TV shows or Netflix episodes that you guys are like really into watching right now?
Yes. I have like a long list right now, but I would say that the last few that I've been watching. So last night I actually watched the Centoya Brown documentary. So that was really interesting, in terms of just like better understanding the case and Centoya Brown's life and the flaws in our criminal justice system. I'm like it's like kind of weird, but I watch a lot of documentaries and shows on like jail and prison and murder. And I minored in criminal justice in college. So I think I've just always had an interest in understanding the criminal justice system. So that's one. And then the other one that I picked up a couple of days ago, which is it's just like cute and funny, is it's a show called Never Have I Ever. And it follows, I believe it's SC American.
Somebody else told me to watch that.
Oh, it's hilarious. Like I'm laughing out loud in my bed last night, just watching the show. And it's cute. Like the episode's like 20 minutes and they're really funny and really awkward. And that one's really good. So check that out.
I'll be checking it out tonight.
Perfect. So right now, I just finished season 3 of Ozark, which I thought was fantastic too. I'm a big Jason Bateman guy. I've loved him since Arrested Development, so it's really interesting, to see him in like a similar type dad role, but like in a completely different universe, which I've really been enjoying too. I'm actually a big Hulu guy also. So I love Atlanta, which is Donald Glover's show, which is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It kind of alludes to a lot of the stuff that Connie was talking about, but kind of sheds some funny light to it too. But it's just very real. I love that. And I'm a big Stephen King guy, so I just watched the show Castle Rock on Hulu as well too, which I love because it pulls from pieces from all of his books and universes and just does it in a really kind of creative and kind of really creepy way too. So that's another one I'm really into.
Nice. I'm definitely going to check out Never Have I Ever, and I have to get on Ozark. I have to say, I love Jason Bateman. I haven't got on it yet.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine.
Yassir, Natalia, any of you guys watch those?
I don't watch
haven't
those, but go ahead, Natalia.
I saw the trailer for Never Have I Ever, and I was determined to watch it, but I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight. But I haven't watched Ozark yet or any of the other shows. And I'm really big
Everyone
into
needs to watch it.
documentaries, especially like criminal documentaries too.
Good. Yeah, there's some good ones out there right now.
Yeah.
I haven't started watching Never Have I Ever yet. I saw like the first 5 minutes, but I was like, I want to save it for tonight. You know, I was just waiting for the moment. But recently, I've been watching How to Get Away with Murder, their last season. It's very intense. It's crazy. There's so many mysteries. It's very interesting to watch. And it keeps you on your toes. And also, I've been rewatching American Horror Story because, I mean, it's just one of the best TV shows to ever hit
Love AHS.
TV, I guess.
Definitely. What's your favorite season of American Horror Story?
I like Coven, but I'm also a big fan of their most recent season. I think it's like 19. Mm-hmm.
That one was great. I binged that one. Good show.
Ooh, House of Cards just came in off Facebook. House of Cards is a good series too. If no one's ever watched that, that's a good show to get into.
Yeah, definitely.
And I kind of just have one final. Yeah, add it. I got one final question. We kind of talked about career advice, you know, what you guys kind of where your pathways brought you into your career right now. Kind of just wanted to ask you guys, what was that feeling of that first paycheck that you guys received? Like, what was your immediate thought? Was it like, I'm going out and spending it all. I'm going to buy some new Jordans. You know, I'm going to buy a Nintendo. What was that feeling like?
Wait, the government taxes me and not Amazon? What's up with that? Where's the rest of it? No, it's all good. It's a great feeling to get that first big paycheck. You know, you really feel like you've accomplished something. I definitely try to save as much money as possible, but you know, other times you have to kind of indulge because you've worked so hard to get here. And there's nothing wrong with treating yourself. So sometimes you got to mix it up and just, you know, treat yourself for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that first big paycheck, it's like all exciting because you're like, oh, I'm getting paid now. And then you see everything that gets deducted from your paycheck. And then your student loans kick in and you're like, what just happened? But it is, you know, for me, I've always been a really independent person. And so I just, you know, it felt good to make money, right? And like money that was mine and that I could use to pay for things that, you know, even if it's like, it brings me great joy to pay my bills on my own. So I think you know, that was something that was exciting, but it's also like Jake said, like you got to treat yourself too. And so whether it's like just going out with friends for dinner or buying something that you really want, like I'm all about that too, because life is short. And yeah, I mean, I like sneakers and clothes and vacation and
Can we see your sneaker collection?
You just checking all the boxes, I think, that we all love. Sneakers, clothes, vacations.
Yeah, food.
Snacks.
Food. Exactly. Yeah, so it does feel good. It really feels good.
Nice. Well, thank you guys again for, you know, taking the time and coming on our second show of Keeping It 100. And, you know, hope you guys enjoyed yourself. And thank you to all of our viewers out there that checked in. Thank you guys for joining in. And remember to tune in next week at 3 p.m.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was great. Let me know if you want to come back.
Thanks, everyone. All right. We'll see you on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Things. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.